Hey, what's up, Sequoia Nation? This is Dr. Schilling bringing you a Friday episode of, I don't know what we want to call this, just impromptu. Today we're going to be instructing you on how to do mud packing. A lot of you have heard about it, a lot of you have done it already, a lot of people have some questions about it, like what is it, how do we do this? So what I'm going to do is basically describe for you and show you exactly how you do mud packing. It's called therapeutic mud packing for a reason. Basically when you have scars like I have on my arm or on my chin or my lip, or you might have an injury to the back of your head, the front of your head, you might have broken your nose, busted your chin open, slammed on your tailbone, just depends on where you are. Amelia, one of our team members, has a cut on her ankle that needs to be fixed. Sasha's got a tailbone. Everybody's slipped and fallen at some point. Just depends on how profound the injury is. If you have any concussions, you can be assured you have what's called an interference field in your head somewhere. Interference field is basically where there's been a contusion or some trauma to the area, which is not allowing the energy to flow through there. So over time, energy stops flowing in, toxins build up, and the area just starts to break down. A lot of this can affect your meridian system. So for example, let's just say I sprained this ankle really bad. Well, it just so happens that a gallbladder meridian runs up the side of your leg, across your abdomen, behind your shoulder blade, and up your neck. So you could start having chronic neck pain because of an ankle injury that you had when you were 15 or 5 or whenever it was. So it just depends. So best thing to do is come in, have us check you over for interference fields. Easy process. We send you home with this stuff. You don't have to do it in the clinic. We don't have the water for it, but it's easy process. You go home. Now generally I'm doing this outside. You can do it outside, but you're probably going to want to do it in your shower at home unless you have an outdoor space. Since it's summer in Minnesota, you can do it outside, but you're going to want to do it outside because the great thing is you're going to want to take in the sun and the UV radiation to help you cleanse the body out in the first place. So keep that in mind. We're going to start off with the Medi-Body pack, right? Everybody's body is different. So what you want to make sure you do is you have a non-metal bowl and you have a non-metal utensil. So what I'm going to do is basically pop the top, and we're going to take, for me, I would generally do between 6 and 8 tablespoons. So as you can see, I'll get, that's basically 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now it's a lot of mud. You'll get good at this, right? Generally speaking, we do it 4 days in a row for about 10 minutes at a time, and you'll get to figure out the consistency of the mud basically within the first one. So you're going to next take some Medi Mineral Serum. You're going to pop the top of that one. Now this generally requires 1 to 2 teaspoons, depending on your body size and the area you're going to accomplish. We usually do, depending on where the scar is, you might do a 3-inch circle on that scar. If it's a C-section scar or a hysterectomy scar, whatever your scar is, you want to break it up into basically 3-inch chunks. The reason we do that is because we don't want to overload the system. We want to make sure the body can pull the toxins out of that interference field site, that scar, that trauma area, and get it out of the body. And I'll explain in a minute why we're doing the hands and feet. So getting back to our mixture, you have your mud in your bowl. You're going to take some mineral serum, and you're going to usually do, for about that amount of mud, again, in the sheet we usually do 1 to 2 teaspoons. Sometimes you need tablespoons, just depends on how big your area is. Okay, so then what you're going to need is some water, right? We use purified water, so you're going to mix it up, mix it in, and as you go along, you're going to notice mud will absorb the water and the minerals, okay? So it's like baking, right? You're in the kitchen, we're going to bake a pie, and this is a mud pie, okay? So we're just mixing it up, and you'll notice you want to get a consistency that is not too clumpy that it's going to hit you and fall off, and it's not too sloppy that's going to run down your body. So you want to keep that in mind. So right now, basically, I'm making some mud, and I've done this more times than I'd like to admit, given all my injury sites from snowboarding and hockey and mountain biking falls and stuff like that. So I get pretty good at mixing the mud. My daughter, who is now 21 months, we've mud packed her twice because her downloads shut down, which the hands and feet are downloads. And I haven't posted that video yet, but I probably should. It's pretty cute seeing a 6-month-old in a foot bath, which I'll show you in a minute here. But this is just going to give you a general idea. Okay? Generally speaking, we do it for 10 minutes at a time. I would test you to determine how long you do it for, number of days, and the amount of time. So keep that in mind. It's always helpful to know. So what I'm going to do now is, because we need to make sure the downloads are open, what we're going to do is, this is what I would do. If I was at home in the winter, which I've done it before, or in the summer, you basically want to get enough mud to create a little patty, right? So you want to cover the palm, right? That's a little bit more than you need. But I'm giving you an example, right? You want to cover the palm of the hand, and you see how it's nice and not runny, not too sticky, it's just sitting there, right? Basically, I can do this and it's still on there. That's the consistency you want. You don't want it to be clumping and falling off. Now, keep in mind, as we mentioned, what I'll do is I'm going to add more to my hand because I'm going to now put it on my feet, right? So you put it on the pad of the foot, right where the arch is. So you're going to wipe some on there. You're going to create that mud patty, right? Okay, and then you stand on it. Okay? It's pretty easy. Right over here, get some on your pad. Spread it evenly, okay? Kind of like a cow pie after a while. Then you put it on the top of the foot, okay? This is so much fun. Everybody loves doing this, I can tell you that. Okay, so then sometimes you got to get a little more mud out of the bowl. Get some more on top of your foot. Now, what's cool about this is if you have a scar on your foot, you can double up on it. You could use, because your foot's a download, you can do more than one site at a time. So if I had a scar, like for example Amelia, when she has a scar on her foot, what she can do is she can do her foot at the same time she does another scar somewhere on her body. So keep that in mind, and we'll explain more about that later. Don't worry about that. All right, so basically, as you can see, I've made just about enough. Now what I'm doing is I'm mudding the downloads, right? So in Chinese medicine, the downloads are the hands and feet, right? So what we want to appreciate is this is where the toxins flow out of your body, okay? That sounds kind of annoying, isn't it? Hopefully you guys can't hear that too well. We are going to now figure out an injury site. Okay? So this is a general idea. Back of the hands, back of the palm, top of the palms, hands and feet. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an example of a common site. Okay? So the pituitary, right? Everybody loves this one. Right on your forehead, right? This is so fun. Okay, so I put it right on my eyebrow, right where your unibrow would be. And this is an injury site. So if you ever smacked your head hard, if you ever had an injury, some kids fall out of the little swings when they're kids, or their brothers pull them out of the crib and they smack their face down. You know, obviously you can see this is a good time, right? So you would stand here for about 10 minutes. And, you know, usually set a timer before, maybe set it for 11 minutes, get your mud on. By that time, you're going to stand there. So it's fun, right? I'm not usually on camera with mud on my head and my hands and feet, but it's fun, right? So you just get the idea, right? And it could be on the front of your head. It could be back here on the back of your head. So we might as well just keep it real, right? Put it on the back of your head. After 10 minutes, right, you're going to take your mud off, and it doesn't come off very easy. That's why we usually do it in the shower, okay? The next step, if I can get this clump off my head, is we're going to mix up the bath, right? So what you do is you take water like that, or if it's taking too long, you create your foot bath, right? And then what you do is you take your Medi Body Bath or the Medi Body Soak. Looks like I still got some on my forehead. And what you're going to do, and you'd measure it out, about a cup, okay? It's probably, there we go. It's about a cup there. And you want to get enough water in there so that it's going to cover your feet. Okay, so this is once you have all the mud off your hands and feet, right? You've cleansed it. Now you're going outside, or you're doing your foot bath and you're going to go outside. So then you stand in here, right? Again, the mud would not be on your feet. You'd have that cleaned off. I'm just giving you an example. So you're basically going to stand in here, or sit in here rather. You usually sit in your Barca lounger, your Adirondack chair, whatever your lawn furniture is, and chill out for about 20 minutes. And this pulls more toxins out of your body, right? So the toxins are being pulled out of your hands and feet. They're also being, with the foot bath afterwards, it's going to pull more toxins out of your body. Good idea to use something like a pH balancer or an Intramin afterward. Get some Premier Pink salt in you, something like that to get some minerals back in you, because this is going to pull minerals out of your body, okay? Not in an excessive form, but it's going to pull some minerals out, so you want to be aware of that. If you ever get muscle cramping or anything like that afterward, this is a good idea to know you need some more minerals, because your body's really cleansing some stuff. So the critical part is you do the mud on the hands and feet to make sure that you don't have any blockages, right? And you will be taking some what's called MediClay FX and some aloe liquid to cleanse the GI system. You take a little bit before the mud packing process. You take a little bit more after, because when your body detoxes these injury sites, whether it's a scar, an injury site, or whatever it might be, it's going to pull it into your GI, because that's its main portal of getting it out. So you can understand that you might have some digestive upset. That's why we mix the aloe, which is going to soothe the gut, and the MediClay FX is going to grab those toxins and pull them out, so they get out of your body faster. Okay. So this is just a real quick summary. I didn't obviously do it the full time. You'd want to do it per the instructions we provide for you. But this is going to help resolve the injury sites, whether it's a shot to the head, unresolved concussion, unresolved head injury, scars, hysterectomies, C-sections. Episiotomies are really important. Women that have had episiotomies or torn during their birthing process for their kids, That site is very critical for the conception vessel and or the governing vessel, just depends on which one is interrupted. So what you want to appreciate is these scar sites, these injury sites, they can have effects very distant from there. Right? If I'm a woman and I have an episiotomy or a tear during a birthing process, it can affect everything on the front side up to my lower lip. It could be your thyroid, it could be your heart, your stomach, your small intestine, your uterus, your bladder. Anything along there can be disrupted. It's energy. It's kind of like taking a dimmer switch and turning it down. And if it's like that for 15, 20, 30 years, eventually the light just shuts off and the system shuts down. That's why women who have episiotomies or tear during birthing process can have prolapsed uterus, prolapsed bladder, dropped pelvic floors, chronic stomach issues, chronic GI issues, thyroiditis, things like that. Everything can go haywire. It just depends on your issue. I'm giving you one example, but there are tons that you can think of, okay? So you ever break your wrist, you could have heart palpitations because you're messing up your pericardium rhythm because the injury site's down here, just as an example. And they're innumerable. So if you have had an injury and you're concerned about it, give us a call. We'll let you know if we think you should come in. No big deal. We'll test for it. We'll figure out where the interference fields are, get you the tools you need to remediate that, and you go home, you fix it. And the cool thing is it's a one and done scenario. Unless you go and break that again or whack your head again or something like that, you might have to do it again. But fortunately, if you don't, then it's a one and done scenario. Take the toxins out, restore the energetic connection because the skin's an electrical organ. Okay? Want to keep that in mind. This is all important to understand how these somewhat benign, we'd think, older injuries, they're not affecting us anymore. They're affecting you, you're just not aware of how. So come on in, let us test you, let me show you how it's affecting you in an adverse way and get you back on the road to healing, because this can be the thing that's limiting you from getting where you want to go, all right? This can limit the amount of nutrition you need every month drastically. It can help you feel better, have more energy, think clearer, better bowels, everything's going to function better. So let us know if this has been helpful. Give it a share for your friends and family who you know have had massive head injuries, maybe been on their motorcycle and been hit and fallen off, or all kinds of crazy things you can imagine. Kids playing hockey, soccer, lacrosse, baseball, basketball. I know a couple of kids that have slipped, fallen, smacked their head on a bar, and who knows, everybody's got their own story. So come in, share your story with us. We'll help you fix whatever you might have damaged, and you'll be on the way from there. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Give it a share, give it a like. Let us know we're doing great things for you, and we look forward to seeing you next week when we go live.